Today we will be looking at introducing the topic of artificial intelligence, a key influencing technology in today's world, both from a technology as well as from a business perspective. Artificial intelligence happens to be an old and a powerful branch of computing, which broadly refers to all the capabilities required to endow a machine with a notion of intelligent behavior. So let us dissect this notion of intelligent behavior as endowed in a machine to be able to call an artificial intelligence endeavor. So let's examine some of the key tenets of intelligent behavior. I think to start with, what we need to understand is it needs to display intelligence in form of reasoning by virtue of the way humans reason and work with different kinds of knowledge and perform reasoning of different kinds. It could be form of generalizing from a lot of simple examples to form a generic rule, or when you have generic rules to see if in a specific instance the rule can be applied, or it can be in form of finding root causes for certain symptoms you're observing. So while reasoning is one end, there is on the other end, it's about understanding the different external stimuli and being able to respond to that kind of stimuli or inputs. So it could be, for example, it could be facing a scenario of a car moving autonomously, but it is facing other cars in the surrounding and is able to detect the presence and speed of other cars and adjust its behavior accordingly. Then the third aspect is about how you can actually give a notion of learning from experience. Means from whatever past experience you've seen, for example, you look at a lot of x-rays, you found these are types of malignant cancer, this is a kind of genuine cancer. To look at that and use it to infer a generic knowledge in form of either rules or some kind of abstraction of knowledge, so that you can use it for either automation or creating an intelligent machine itself. And then the other aspect beyond all these three basic elements is the aspect of what is known as being able to perform an intelligent search over myriad or infinite number of possible choices. Let's take the example of, say, an AI game like chess. So if you see in a chess, there are, suppose let's take a possible move we have made in one first go. Then in the next move we have many other choices. Again, next level there are many other choices. So it leads to an exponential choice of service paths, and the search has to be made intelligent and smart so that you can gain in terms of the time taken to perform the winning move. And that is where we see that any AI problem ultimately converts itself into a search problem. When you say search problem, we need to be able to be very clear about saying that what is the notion of optimality. Optimality means while there can be a brute force approach to searching all possible alternatives, idea of AI algorithms is to also include a sense of optimization. And that's where we see all kinds of AI applications like constrained programming or machine learning use the notion of an objective function, which is basically going to help you derive an optimal search path. Then beyond this, there are other tenets of AI which are also emerging very important, which is the notion of learning from experience, but for what? For basically improving on the performance of a task at hand. So if you see improvement of the performance of the task at hand, it could be in form of, suppose you have a lot of x-rays related to cancer, you should be able to detect accurately whether the cancer is malignant or it is benign. And accuracy is what is our performance goal. Or in case of, say, a intelligent chess playing game, it should be about how fast can you score a win over your opponent. So it depends upon domain, and you have an objective function which needs to be optimized. So these are some of the core tenets of any AI system. We're not going into the what constitutes AI, but what I'm saying is what is expected from an AI program or an intelligent machine or a machine capable of intelligent behavior. That's what we're trying to explain here in this AI 101 explanation.